you might be at that sort of phase where you're a little bit tired, maybe looking for this session to end, in hopes, of course, to coming back tonight and being entertained by music and so many other things. I really want you to buckle down, force yourself to pay attention a little bit and to understand that these are some of the moments in life where one word might be spoken that would be the difference between where you are and where you need to be, because all of us have desires and dreams, and so few of us have elevated to a place in life where our allotment is the fulfillment of the things that we've written down, penned, and thought about. And so the first thing that I thought I would speak to you about is, because we're here with great expectation, obviously, of learning about the incredible products that are being presented, additions to compensation, the streamlined message of who we are, from a new improved logo right on down to our message of unity, so that we can go forth and have some synergy about what we're doing in the marketplace. That there's not 10 different messages, but one message, one heart, one vision, one group of people collectively moving through life with the ebbs and flows, yet all still declaring that same incredible message of natural health revolution, which is none other than the greatest catalyst for us to go live life unlimited. Now, I was thinking about how that we come from so many different directions, and most of us come out of maybe traditional businesses or traditional education, or a lot of us have spent our entire lives working for somebody else, trading time for dollars, allowing someone else to determine what we're worth based on what they're willing to pay us. And because of that, we've come into this world of network marketing, and it's foreign to us. You should make mistakes. You're not an expert yet. You'll fail oftentimes. You should, because this is not something that's taught necessarily in your local business class at a high school or a college. So there's a learning format that we must go through. But yet, when you start looking at the positioning and timing of Zija, we're at a very unique crossroads in time. First of all, I believe that we are standing on the greatest threshold of prosperity that the world has ever seen. I believe we're standing on the greatest threshold of prosperity that the world has ever seen, simply because we are fitting needs in the marketplace that have gone far too unnoticed. When you think about network marketing and direct sales, and you got the negative naysayers, the dream stealers, and all the destiny hijackers that stand in your way trying to tell you what can be, what is, you need to understand that, first of all, direct sales is about a $32 billion a year business. It's eclipsing $200 billion in revenue. Over $200 million a day you're actually paid out in commissions to somebody around the world connected to something within the direct selling industry. And so it's important that you recognize that most companies are simply trying to fill a void or a niche in the marketplace, often building their businesses on propaganda and hype. Rarely do they have a product that actually works. Rarely do they have a company with ownership, leadership, that will put their money where their mouth is, and not only own manufacturing facilities, not just have a corporate staff that is qualified to help us get our lives to the next level, but then to provide the tools necessary for you and I to really elevate our faith, go forth, put in the amount of work and hustle that is required to live a remarkable life. And so when you leave here today, it's important that you understand you're in the right industry. People all over the world are living paycheck to paycheck. Matter of fact, maybe for the first time in our entire civilization, we've got millennials and baby boomers in the marketplace fighting over the same types of jobs, squabbling over the same dollars. And what that really means is that some of the most qualified people in the entire world, some of the former six-figure income earners, are desperately looking for something, and they're waiting on you and I to step up to the plate, schedule an appointment, go have a home meeting, maybe meet somebody and passionately just simply begin to share your story from your heart about what this organization means, not just to you or your community, but it's much bigger than that. Now, when we think about where we are in our journey, oftentimes we find ourselves attending something like our global summit, and we're faced with so much adversity that oftentimes this becomes a crossroad, meaning that many of us, when we leave here today, may assume that the journey's too tough or hard, and maybe I'm not cut out for what it takes to be a network marketer or an entrepreneur, a world changer, a difference maker, the type of person that can truly go make a difference. But there will be others in the room today that there will be a passion and a fire ignited deep inside of your soul, and there won't be anything be able to stand between you and what it is that you feel called of God to do. Is it supposed to be tough? Yes. God never promises a flower bed of ease. But it's in those moments that we understand that problems are simply an invitation for rewards. And the quicker you become comfortable with being a problem solver, the quicker you become comfortable with understanding that the toughness that we face are simply moments that mold our character, set our integrity in place to be the leaders that we are called to be. You know, I was thinking earlier today as we had an Army Ranger here speaking from stage. There's a movie that's one of my favorite military movies about something that took place in 1993, and that movie was called Black Hawk Down. And in that movie about a group of soldiers that were on the ground, a group of Army Rangers that were under heavy gunfire from both civilians and the local enemy, they quickly recognized they had to rescue a group of Humvees to a rescue point. And in that movie, we find a very tough colonel being played out as a man that was leading a convoy, and there's a scene that is played out throughout that movie where all of a sudden one of the convoys, which were Humvees, stopped. And Greg, when they stopped, the colonel recognized that stopping and quitting was not an option. We got to keep on going on. And as he opened the door, what he had recognized is that the driver of that Humvee was shot and his life had been taken from him. In that moment, and sometimes in life, we have to make those quick and necessary decisions. That colonel reaches up, pulls the body out, turns to the sergeant beside him, and he says, "Sir, get in the car and drive." And he looks at the colonel and he says, "Sir," he said, "I've been shot." And the colonel turns around and looks at him and says, "We've all been shot. Get in the car and drive." I want to go ahead and put this to rest and just out of the gate give you an understanding that I know that many of you in the room today feel like you've been under heavy gunfire. That maybe everything has been falling apart. And I want to encourage you to understand that you might have thought you were falling apart, but God was utilizing the circumstances, and the entire time you really just been falling together. You see, we've all been shocked. We've all been under gunfire. We've all faced adversity, but the difference is maybe willpower. Maybe the difference is understanding what is required of you to truly qualify for the next seasons of your life. You know, it's been said that feeble souls have wishes, but those that are leaders, those that are hungry, those that feel called to do something different, to really make a difference, they have more than just wishes. They have willpower. Willpower will make mountains crumble and just become hills. Willpower is the difference between settling in life and standing up and facing your personal Goliaths and recognizing that the things that stand before you are not to disappoint and discourage, but the mountains that stand before us also contain the rewards in which we seek. And it's here today that we recognize that Siege has done everything they can to provide you and I the vehicle to change lives, to help people elevate their status, both in health and also in income. But the most perfect business model that exists gets nothing done, if we don't step up to the plate and start applying some effort. Even the scripture said, faith without is dead. And so I want to encourage you to be resilient. You know, resilient is the ability to be knocked down. Resilient is the ability to be defeated and yet come back much more successful than ever before. Most of us today, maybe you haven't just reached your threshold yet. You know, threshold is that place in life that you reach where you're unwilling to accept things as they are any longer. See, a lot of you just haven't reached the threshold yet. You know, my mentor, Mr. Paul Ferguson, used to tell a story about a vacuum cleaner salesman, maybe in the Blue Hills of Kentucky, and he stopped by an old country home and knocked on the door to sell a vacuum cleaner. And as he was knocking on the door to sell the vacuum cleaner, he noticed that there was a dog sitting on the porch just belly aching, moaning and groaning. And he looks at the owner that is standing in the door and he says, "Man, what's wrong with that dog?" He said, "Ain't nothing wrong with that dog." So he goes on with his pitch. He keeps telling the story. And all of a sudden that old old greyhound down there, that old hound just started belly aching even much more. Must have sounded some kind of awful. And he looked up at the owner of the house again. He said, "Sir," he said, "I don't know what's going on with your dog down there. He won't stop belly aching. He's just making some awful sounds. What is wrong with your dog?" He said, "Oh, ain't nothing wrong with him. He's just sleeping on a nail. He's just sleeping on a nail." He says, what? Get him off the nail. Can you help him out?" He said, "No, ain't no sense in that. When he's had enough of it, he'll get up and move." See, a lot of you haven't reached that place yet because the threshold of pain in all of our lives is different. Everybody can endure certain pain and others can endure a lot of pain. But you need to leave here today and say, what pain am I willing to endure to truly take my life, my legacy, and my family, this company, to the next level? Part of it will require willpower, some of it resilience, but it'll require even more of that. You're going to have to start walking away from some of the identity crisis that a lot of you have been facing in life. You see, one of the things I love about network marketing, especially ZJ International, is a lot of us probably have been labeled something our entire lives. Maybe misfit, maybe outcast. Maybe you wasn't always the popular kid. Maybe you were told that you would never amount to nothing. See, people have been struggling with that kind of stuff their whole life. That's what the enemy tries to do. The enemy don't fight you for where you are. He fights you for where you're going. That's why you always hear me say that warfare is simply a sign that your enemy has discerned your future. But when you can dig deep inside and you can begin to change the inner dialogue, when the inside story begins to change and your belief system begins to elevate, when you become a woman and a man of faith, unwavering faith, unshakable faith, you then can stand before the mountains and begin to speak, "Peace be still." You then can recognize that greater is He that's in me than he that is in any circumstance that I am confronted with. And I'm even reminded of a simple prayer that was in the Scripture, and involved the simple prayer is the Lord's Prayer. Now, most people has at least said the Lord's Prayer, maybe at a football game, maybe growing up playing Little League Brandon, and it's a simple prayer, but it often goes unnoticed in the power that resides in the prayer. And here's what it says: Heavenly Father, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come.
Yes.
Thy will be done. Here's the key: on earth as it is in
heaven.
That's a powerful prayer. And it's a simple prayer, but I want you to catch something today before I leave you. First of all, he said, "Thy will be done on earth as it is in
heaven."
There ain't no poverty in heaven.
Exactly.
No sickness in heaven.
Exactly.
Ain't no doubt and worry up in heaven.
Exactly.
No struggle up in heaven.
Exactly.
Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And then maybe you fail to take the principle of that Scripture further and to understand the full revelation and content in which the Lord was speaking, because back before the worlds were ever even shifted, when it was just sort of formless, the Scripture actually says that the Lord reached down and He began to make a body for Adam, and He made the body for Adam out of the earth. And most of us are aware that we're sort of just a clay form of residue, and scientists even tell us that if the body was burnt down into just ash, that the chemicals in us are probably less than $5, would seem worthless from a standpoint of an investment. But He began to mold and shape something out of the earth. And here's something much more spectacular, because He said, "Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." If we are His earth, let me ask you another question. Where did God place all the wealth? Where did He place the bronze? In the earth. Where did He put the gold?
In the earth.
Where did He put the oil?
In the earth, absolutely.
Where did He put diamonds?
In the earth.
Everything. Listen to me. This is so powerful that you understand this. The full inventory of heaven resides inside of you.
Absolutely.
The full inventory of heaven.
Yes.
Not some of God, not a little bit of God. Everything that He is, He emptied out and poured into you and I. Chosen vessels, ordained for such a time as this, that we might stand up and be a difference maker, trailblazers, spearheading movements that can truly bring peace and health and prosperity to people. I want to challenge you today when you leave here to be a part of something bigger than you and I. I want to read a poem that was delivered by a great poet, but was found actually in the pocket of the legendary football coach, Mr. Bear Bryant. When he had passed, this was found in his pocket. And the poem simply says, "This is the beginning of a new day. God has given me this day to use it as I will. I can waste it or I can use it for good. What I do with today is important because I am exchanging a day of my life for it. When tomorrow comes, this day will be gone forever, leaving something in its place that I have traded for it. I want this to be a gain and not a loss. Good, not evil. Success, not failure. In order that I shall not forget the price that I have paid for it." If you could get up every single day and challenge yourself to live life at its absolute highest, to never settle for less than God has promised you, may I say to you, my Zija family, that when you leave here today, I believe with all of my heart, you will have received the information, mentorship, and the inspiration that is necessary to truly embark upon a journey where you begin to unfold and to truly live life as you are called to live. I believe that when we live here, for many of you, you will move from poverty to prosperity. For a lot of you in the room, you're going to be moving from confusion to clearness and clarity. A lot of you in the room that's been struggling with pain in your life are going to see healing begin to unfold and manifest.
Amen.
Because you see, I'm aware that so many of you might be going through struggles and the tirelessness of nights and the sleepless nights and the weariness that no one else knows, that when you're on your bed crying and hoping and praying and it seems like nobody understands what you're going through, you're still the little darlings of God's grace. And you're held in the palm of the hand of an eternal one that not only loves you, but is molding you and is forcing you to express yourself in such a sovereign way that you'll refuse to settle. Let me say it like this. I declare this day, right now, that every embargo on your life is now lifted.
Amen.
I declare that everything that is standing before you and where you desire to be is now lifted.
Amen.
Every weight, everything, every struggle, everything that you've encountered to this point, I believe the presence of the mighty one on your behalf is going to move mountains.
Amen.
I believe you'll begin to create increase in every phase of your life, so that when you now look back at your journey a year from now, we won't have a room of 7,000 or 8,000. I see us still in Coliseums, Brandon. I see that our business won't just be in the network marketing realm. I believe that this is just the tipping point of a revolution that will not just spread into the marketplace, but a global dominance where the Zija brand will be a brand of excellence and the standard and the benchmark in which all other companies look to